New captain, apparently new coaches, but the same old PCB. Welcome to the shiny side. I'm your host, Faris, and we have with us Umair joining us from Dubai. How's it going, Umair?
All well, Faris, how are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. There's a lot to catch up on. I mean, it's been pretty happening time at the PCB, even since the PSL has ended. Uh, we will talk about the change in captaincy and the drama it unfolded. We will also talk about the camp that just ended in Kakul today. But first, there seems to be an update on the coaches for Pakistan. Now, we've all heard the talk about Shane Watson. Initially was asked what his expectation was. He asked for it. We apparently made an offer 4 times, which he declined subsequently. The talk since then has been that some combination of Luke Ronchi, Jason Gillespie, and Gary Kirsten were in the mix. Now, since then, I think Luke Ronchi is no longer in contention. The news that initially came out was Gary Kirsten potentially head coach with Gillespie as a bowling coach. Now they're actually saying, and it sounds believable to me, that there'll be split coaches for white ball and red ball, with Gary Kirsten taking on the white ball team and Gillespie taking on the test side. Now, Gillespie will have incredible work-life balance if that's true, because we play 6 tests in the whole year, I think. But I think the reason I say it's believable is because someone like Gary Kirsten in this day and age, I do not expect him to be open to full-time coach for any national side, right? Because these guys can make a lot more money by working half the days by doing a couple of leagues in the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what do you make of these names and like, I mean, by the way, this is not official yet, but that's the grapevine suggests that's what's going to happen now.
Yeah. So I think the PCB's applications for coaches are open till 15th April. So I think they're waiting for that date before they can officially announce. They've probably decided on these two. Unless some
and it's not like a lot of tier 1 coaches globally are lining up to apply for the job at this point, right?
Exactly. Unless before 15th April they get, I don't know, MS Dhoni's name or something, so something like that. Otherwise, I think it's pretty much tied on Gary Kirsten and Gillespie. But look, Gary Kirsten is a very successful international coach. I mean, at least he had a very successful tenure with India. I think he coached South Africa as well after that. That wasn't as successful as India's was. But look, I think Gary Gershon is a great name if he's being added. Jason Gillespie, I don't know. What are his coaching credentials. I'm not really sure.
I mean, with Gillespie, he's got the badges. He's got the badges. Yeah. He was coach for Sussex for about 3 years. He was based in England. He moved back to Australia last year, a couple of years ago, and he's been coach of one of the, I think Western Australia he was coach of, as well as the Big Bash team of that side. So he's been coaching them.
So all of these domestic teams and leagues, I sort of have an idea, but internationally, has he done anything?
I don't know. This is only his first assignment as part of the international setup.
I don't think he has, right?
Yeah. So, but I actually think that's the only kind of person who'd be open to a full-time job with Pakistan cricket, right? Because someone who's trying to build their CV, I mean, right? Because Gary Kirsten, there's no way I see him doing a full-time role across formats. I get the white ball or red ball only, right? But that's probably how they've even got someone like Kirsten. But
true.
Yeah. I mean, and what they say, like these guys, Pakistani chairmen love Australians, right? So like Gillespie Australian, other काम वहीं हो जाएगा.
No, and I mean they love foreigners, and I think foreigners have also been foreign coaches have also been more successful with Pakistan sides compared to our own local coaches. Although Mohsin Khan probably has the best record as a Test coach for Pakistan, and Saklan Mushtaq maybe in T20 cricket, but anyway. Gary Kirsten is, if he's coming on board, I think that's very good news for Pakistan.
I mean, look, I think with coaching, lots of things to see, right? But I feel like at the top of my head, guys like Bob Woolmer, of course, even Dave Watmore, Mickey Arthur to some extent, right? It's not just about the results, but how you see players develop in that time, right? And we've seen that
even,
these guys have done that.
Jeff Lawson
for that matter.
He had a very good time.
Yeah. The other thing is, I mean, Kirsten right now is coach for, I think he's batting coach for the Gujarat Titans, I believe. He's definitely in the IPL. The IPL ends 4 days before. The IPL ends 4 days before the T20 World Cup starts, I believe. So if he is going to fulfill that out, he will either not actually come and take over in person until perhaps even after the England series. So if this is announced, we'll have to see how that plays out.
Interesting. I think Shane Watson also declined because of some IPL duties, right? Not resigned, sorry. He didn't accept because
he didn't accept the
offer. Had some IPL contract and he had something in the 100 and things he couldn't get out of.
So the New Zealand team arrives in exactly a week from today. So it's quite certain that whoever is appointed as the international guy, they will not be part of the setup for that series. They probably will have apparently interim coaches, maybe Abdur Rahman or Mohammad Yusuf or somebody for this series. So because again,
Yusuf is a selector, so I don't think he can.
Yeah, I mean, I think like so was Hafiz, right? Also, Hafiz was, he was actually director of cricket last time, but apparently they were saying that he may be interim for this one
Yeah,
series.
it could be. Yeah, could be.
Also, thing is, Gillespie. What's confirmed though is Gillespie has resigned from his role at his Australian role, right? He resigned a week ago, so clearly he's going somewhere.
Oh,
So
yeah, I mean, so something's happening.
Yeah,
he's been given some sort of guarantee, although with PCB there are no guarantees whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure Shaheen was given some guarantee a month or two ago, right? But like, what do we know? But okay, and also one more thing, I feel like the split coaching thing will be a new thing for Pakistan, right? So having a separate coach for white ball, red ball. I know England's been doing it fairly successfully. I feel like West Indies may be the only other team doing it at the international stage right now. But I feel like it's going to go that way, right? Like we said, no tier one coach wants to commit to an international team, no matter which team, because it's much more lucrative for them to do a couple of leagues. So it'll probably go that way for most teams, I imagine now.
True.
Yeah. But moving on to something that's close to everyone's heart, which is what happened to the captaincy, right? Like, so we are back where we were X months ago with Babar Azam as captain, except we have a much more pissed off Shaheen Afridi apparently. So what's your reaction to what we've seen in the last 2 weeks?
Look, I am extremely happy that Babar Azam is back as captain. I'm of the view that he should have never been removed. Even when he was removed, I said there was a mistake. And I also said at that time that he'll be back very soon. People like Rashid Latif, Basit Ali were also saying the same.
If I can just interrupt you, I don't think you expected him to be back this soon, though.
No, I did not expect him to be back this soon, but I thought he would come back. And, you know, I was always of the view when people used to bash or criticize his captaincy, I was always of the view that till he retires, he is the only leader Pakistan has. There is no one. I don't see any of that. People talk about Shadab and Rizwan and Imad and Shaheen. None. I mean, there's no one, no cricketer more respected than Babar Azam in Pakistan. He's the right person to be doing this job. And fine, the way he was removed was wrong, but that was PCB being PCB. The way Shaheen was removed and Babar reinstated was also wrong. Yeah. But that's just how PCB does its things. Yeah. And Shaheen, I think his anger is more towards the PCB than towards Babar. We're fortunate that Shaheen and Babar share a good relationship, unlike Wasim and Waqar and the other players of the 90s, when the captaincy was being juggled around those 7 or 8 players. There was a lot of animosity between the players as well. At least that is not there in this generation, which is a great thing. But yeah, the PCB, they've never handled their players well, and they're not handling them well now either. Yeah. But yeah, I think great for Pakistan that Babar is back at the helm.
Yeah, I think it's hard for me to share what my final view on this, to be honest. So the way I see it, as you know, I've said on the show a number of times, when Babar was removed, I thought it was a bad idea for lots of reasons. Even if his performance was a question mark, my sense was, you wait till the T20 World Cup, because that's the format he's taking you to knockouts in 2 games, right? Yeah, and there was no ODIs even in the meantime, right? So it didn't make any sense to me. However,
plus,
given that they
blamed, sorry, I'm interrupting you, but he was basically punished for ODIs.
Yeah.
And while his T20 performance was fine.
And there were no ODIs in the next 6 months when he made the change, right? So, but my take also was, given that Shaheen was appointed, I would have personally, I mean, it's hard to say. I still think Babar is the right captain for Pakistan, but I wasn't such a fan of them changing. I do think we've come at the right outcome eventually. I just don't like the way it's happened. I like you said, right?
No, agreed.
I mean, a lot of respect to the players that they haven't let this become a bigger deal than it could have been. And by players, I basically mean Shaheen and Babar, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Agreed.
I mean, if this was this was like an Imad Wasim or somebody involved, could have been a very different situation.
Oh man, yeah, unbelievable. It's just PCB. I mean, look, for the longest time, after a long time, we had a team. There was Misbah's test team, which sort of showed a united front with zero politics between players. And then there was this white ball team, even red ball under Babar, the team that has shown so much unity, and I believe that's half the battle in terms of the good results that they were bringing out in T20 cricket was because of that. Yeah. And, so people always criticized, and they still do, that Babar is the reason Pakistan has lost tournaments. It's not like you had a line of captains winning tournaments for Pakistan for the past 20 years. That has not been there. But if you look at those matches, I'll just take 2 minutes here. There's the Asia Cup final, there's a T20 World Cup semi-final, there's a T20 World Cup final, there's a Pakistan-India match in Melbourne at the T20 World Cup. I mean, look at those games. Forget about what Babar's bad decisions on the field. In the final Asia Cup final against Sri Lanka, you dropped Rajapaksa 5 times. That's not Babar's fault. T20 World Cup semi against Australia, you got there undefeated. You dropped Wade, Hassan Ali dropped Wade, and then Shaheen got hit for 3 sixes. That's not Babar's fault. If Shaheen doesn't get hit for 3 sixes,
Shaheen had his, Babar had his best ball on, really. Like,
yeah. Then the Kohli game, the Melbourne game, Nawaz last over, 28 of 8 when Haris got hit for 2 sixes. From 28 for 8, Cricinfo will tell you 99.3% times the team defending wins. Right? Haris got hit. Even Nawaz final over, 16 of 6 became 13 of 3. And then Kohli got 10 runs or 1 ball. That's not Babar's fault. And then the T20 World Cup final in Australia against England. I don't know what Babar did wrong. Shaheen got injured.
I agree with you. Like, the thing is, you can have a view on Babar's captaincy not being strong, which, I mean, it's a view, right? Everyone can have their opinion.
Yeah, sure.
But I don't think you can pin those losses on Babar. The way I see it, Babar's the guy who's taken you to those finals, right? It's like, if you look at the PSL, no one's saying, hey, Rizwan's the guy who lost 3 finals. They're saying Rizwan's the guy who got you to 3 finals, right? That's how you evaluate captaincy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, the only I guess fact there also is, I mean, Babar in the last few months, we've seen his T20 game actually go to the next level. And, it also looks like he's been working on his batting and strike rate in the power play is even better. He's playing new shots in the PSL against New Zealand. So I just hope him being captain does not change that journey and he continues to go down that route.
Yeah, look, captaincy in the past also, he captained for 4 years. I don't think it ever affected his bat.
Yeah, true.
I mean, he lost form, yes, but he would have lost form even if he wasn't captain.
Yeah. And, by the way, I think my sources tell me that the selection committee which made this recommendation, they were also of the view that, like, people generally look at tactical stuff on the field, but that's not the only thing a captain does. And they were of the view that Babar can unite this team like nobody else. Like, nobody comes close to how well Babar can unite the team. And I kind of agree with that.
I have never seen any Pakistan team be so united and motivated and, just together in spirit, the way Babar has done. And plus, look, Shaheen needs to be rested, right?
I mean, we spoke about this on the show a number of times when he was appointed.
Yeah, that when he rests, what do you do? So, I mean, there's already talks of him not playing the New Zealand series or not playing the first 3 T20s. You need to rest him. So it's good for Pakistan.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so I guess before, one more thing, right? So there's this Kakul Fitness Academy camp that's happened, right? The camp actually ended today. And I have a lot of views on this, right? So firstly, I understand that the chairman wants to improve fitness. It's a very good vision to have. But the chairman coming out and saying something like, "Ji, PSL mein jab chhakke lagte hain, upar mud ke dekhen to sab gore maar rahe hote hain." This doesn't sit well with me. The chairman could have come out and said, you know what, Pakistanis hit boundaries on X% deliveries and the average for other teams is Y%, and we need to make that gap. So, okay, that's a good reason to do it. Secondly, these are tier 1 athletes, right? So they have very specific needs as far as fitness and conditioning is concerned. You can get specialists in this domain to come and work with them and improve whatever needs to be done. But putting them through a rigorous, like, army kind of training, which is not designed necessarily to make people stronger at what they do, it's kind of meant to sift out the weaker ones, right? So if somebody's not fit enough, will we not play him? If this guy's the best bowler in the team, obviously not, right? And this system is also designed, if I can say so, is designed that, you know what, agar hum 100 bande train karte hain, 10 of them are not good enough, then it's okay. We have 90 other, but these are athletes. You can't afford to lose any individual. So this, while the emphasis on fitness, I just don't like what I've seen. And then, you see these images of Saim carrying some guy. I mean, this is not WWE, right? He's training for cricket. There's one of Naseem Shah jumping off an 8-foot wall, which was scary because imagine if he does something to his knee. So clearly, I mean, I don't know what you made of this, but it didn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. Part of the camp was Azam Khan. I loved how the team was cheering him on everything he was doing, which is great. But yeah, it's a very strange statement to make that hum itne lambe chhakke nahi marte. मतलब भाई छक्का 70 मीटर का हो 120 मीटर का हो 6 रन ही देने हैं. So I mean, it's fine if you're hitting 70 meter sixes as long as you're hitting.
So that's what this Babar Qazi was saying on this other podcast, right? He was like, they should now get the army jawans and the Pakistan team to bat together and see lambe chakke kaun marta jata, right? Like, chalo, wo to training karke aaye. Like, it's not like Chris Gayle, ye training Fauji ki training karke to nahi aaya, na? It's a whole, it's a very specialized field right now, and sending them to an army, it made no sense to me.
But man, I feel even the fitness regime was very outdated. Like they're climbing mountains holding rocks above their head. Like, is this how our army trains?
Like our friend Salman Butt said, right? Like he said, Ji, agar this is how army trains, it's a problem for the country, let alone cricket right now. So
bigger problem than cricket.
But anyway, I guess a few more changes at the PCB. So we've had Samiul Hassan, who was head of media previously in Wasim Khan's time, and he's a former ICC head of media. He's come back as of yesterday as head of media for PCB. Alia Rashid has resigned, and she's a journalist again who's been on, I guess, in this field for a while. Having said that, the last 6 months probably are the worst PRs we've seen come out of, press releases we've seen come out of the PCB, throwing Babar under the bus, throwing all of these things, putting Shaheen's quote in that PR, he wasn't there. So again, I don't know if she was involved in that, if that was bypassing her, but clearly a very bad time for the PCB PR department for sure.
Unbelievable. I don't know how you can put out a quote when someone has not even said that. I mean, no matter what the quote is, like, how can you do it? You at least need to, even if you've written it, just give the guy a call and say, we're attributing this to you. Is it okay? That's it.
Exactly. And to be honest, a lot of stuff comes on media which is not true. But Cricinfo doesn't typically report stuff until it's legit. And Cricinfo was quite clear that Shaheen is about to make a statement saying, I did not make this quote. So I think the chairman had to actually go back to Kakul to have emergency talks and also that. And
I think there were some other media outlets as well who reported that Shaheen was ready to make a statement before the chairman.
And did you see?
And Daniel Rasool also tweeted this.
Yeah. Did you see Shaheen's story a couple of days ago? The lion.
The lion.
Don't mess with me.
Totally directed towards the PCB.
Yeah. But anyway, good stuff. So I guess we have a series starting in about 10 days now. I think they're expecting the score to be announced before Eid, maybe in the next day or so, and then the team will probably get together on the 14th.
They've delayed it, right? I read today that the score announcement has been delayed.
Oh, really?
For some reason. I don't know why.
Okay, interesting. So the team is meant to actually get together a week from today, next Sunday, in Pindi. And that's when New Zealand are also arrived. So I'm guessing that they probably have to announce it in the next 2-3 days, I imagine. But let's see. Yeah. But good stuff. Any thoughts on the series before we wrap up? What do you want to see in the series?
Yeah, देखो, series में I want to see Babar and Saim fire as an opening pair. I want to see Usman Khan and Azam Khan in the lower order fire as well. Have some hitting power down there. See some big hits from Shadab and Imad as well. I would like to see some new spinners tried. Like to see, hopefully Haris can come back and bowl. But I know exactly what's going to happen. It's New Zealand's C team, because half the players are in the IPL. Pakistan's going to win 5-0. And then half the people are going to say, oh, Shaheen 4-1 हार के आया था, Babar 5-0 जीत गया. दूसरे लोग कहेंगे, हाँ, Shaheen A team के खिलाफ खेला था, Babar C team के खिलाफ खेला था, C team के खिलाफ result लेते रहो, खुश होते रहो. This is exactly what's going to happen after the series.
Unfortunately, I'd say our fans are almost as bad as our media. So
and they're so predictable.
Yeah, you know exactly what's going to happen. But good stuff. I guess Umair will catch up closer to the series.
Yeah.
And for those of you watching, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you have a view on who should be Pakistan coach, what do you think of Gary Kirsten and Gillespie as coaches, please leave a comment. I will be back in a few days. In the meantime, stay tuned to the shiny side.